Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today's episode is mostly going to be about healing methods that we've tried ourselves or experimented with. And it's basically an overview. It's not going to be getting into details of each. If there's one that you guys are really interested in, we can do a whole episode on it. But this is just for us to throw out there. We've tried this, we've tried that, we've tried that. This really worked for me. I didn't feel much with this, or whatever it is. So healing methods, when we're talking about healing methods, before we start the episode, we're talking about healing modalities that are not obviously coming from professional medical trained doctors, in the sense that it's homeopathic or it's secondary medicine or herbal medicine. I don't know what other name we would call it, Law.
Alternative medicine.
Alternative,
probably.
yes, that's the word. Okay, alternative medicine. Perfect, yes. So we're going to be going through alternative medicines that we've tried, and our opinions, our views, and our experiences with them. So let's start. Which one do you want to start with, Law?
Let's start with Reiki, because I think that's a big one, and one that probably is the most well-known. Like when we were talking with Tania, it's probably the most well-known kind of alternative healing method. And it's very non-invasive, it's easy, and I think most of us can learn to do it on ourselves. I've done Reiki level 1, and I've done 2 now, and I actually got into it a while ago through Mom, obviously.
Yeah.
She was going to a lady in Uruguay, and we started going to her, and it literally kind of flipped my world upside down, because I didn't understand what it was or how it was going to feel or what it was going to bring into my life. But she was so good at explaining how energetically it was going to shift things in my life. And I remember like a relationship I was in disappeared, like the person just kind of left, and I changed jobs and a bunch of other things happened, but I wasn't in a very good place at the time. But I just remember her putting her hand, because she wouldn't touch my body. People do it differently. Some people can put their hands over your body, or they can put them like on your body. Everyone's different, and there's different ways to kind of do the treatment. But I remember I would just start bawling, like crying, letting all of this anger out and all of this like sadness out. And I was like, how does this work? Like, I don't understand. I just knew it worked, and I kept going back. I'd go there every 2 weeks because it was kind of far away from where we lived. But I just remember all the shifts that I wasn't even consciously thinking of, things that were no longer serving me, would just literally disappear. Like the relationship, a job, people, friends, situations that I like no longer serve me. It was such an interesting way of kind of experiencing it in that time of my life. But I do feel like Reiki is great if you can't pinpoint where maybe your problem's coming from. Maybe you're having anxiety. Maybe you're having, problems voicing things, or you feel like energetically you're stuck, or that you need to clear out bad energy in your body, or that you have like a pain that you can't figure out where it's coming from. I think those are great ways to kind of experience Reiki and try it. And really, like anything, I always say you need to just try it and see how it feels for you, because someone can explain it to you in 20 different ways, but until you actually experience whatever these healing methods we're talking about, you won't really understand it, because it's really hard to wrap your head around it. Yeah. Very hard.
I also did Reiki level 1. It was more like of an exchange where I did the person's Akashic Records, and they initiated me for Reiki. So I didn't really pay too much attention to it, and I didn't really try it out or practice it too much. I just it was kind of the day I looked into it a little bit after, tried it out, like did some on myself. But my link with Reiki, I've never really felt a strong attraction to it, and I don't really know why. And I know that, Mom got really into it. You for a while, you were into it. Mom would even offer to kind of go and do Reiki on me when I was having difficult moments, or I felt tired, or something hurt. And she would I would even not remember to tell her, oh, this is bothering me. And she'd be like, oh my God, it felt really warm here. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was actually bothering me. I forgot to tell you. So it does seem to work, but for some reason, I'm not very fond of it. I don't know why. It's weird. But I also have pending, I do want to do all the Reiki levels, like everything else. I want to take it to a maximum and try it out and still give it an opportunity. But there's something about Reiki that just I'm not fully attracted to. But we're really lucky that we have Mom. Mom has the mastery in Reiki. And sometimes, Aurora will be sick or I won't be feeling too great. And in the WhatsApp family group, I'll say it. And then Mom's like, okay, I'm doing Reiki on you right now.
It's helped me so much with so many different things. Yeah, for sure. And the fact that you can do it distance where you don't really have to be next to the person is amazing. I think it's a good tool that we can all kind of learn to help our families and our friends. I think it's something that could be good. I think it's just an extra tool in your toolkit. What
I love about the way that, the lady that Mom went to, what I love about that whole thing is that lady that taught Mom, she did this really amazing thing where everyone she taught that is now a Reiki practitioner, she keeps their number and they do this Reiki group circle, right? And when someone's in the hospital or very sick, or even if they're they already know the person's going to die, they all exchange the information of that person who wants to get Reiki, who's said, yes, I accept, Reiki from the group. And they'll all get together and commonly do that one person. So it's almost like they're getting a potent, treatment of Reiki. And then there's always somebody in contact with the patient always. So then that one person that's in contact with the patient will tell the rest of the group if there was any improvements after the group worked on it. They'll usually do more than one session, maybe 3 days in a row. But there usually is a really big improvement in the person. So that's an amazing group. They're not charging. They're all getting together to help people that really need it. And I think that's so amazing that they do that. And the lady, it was a great idea she had. Let's all create a big, great Reiki group and help those who are in the hospital that really, really need it or whatever, right?
It's all, like you always say with even the Akashic, it's all about the intention. It's the intention of helping and being able to, someone that's suffering and being able to send some type of energy to them to help them. Why wouldn't you do it, right? I don't know. It seems kind of like a given for me.
Yeah.
And the fact that I hear the stories, I for myself, I know it's helped me, but then I look at Mom's stories sometimes when she comes to us and tells us about her patients, and it's oh my gosh, it's just so amazing how it can help. And it just seems like people are more open to it now. So that's beautiful, I think, in a way, that people are well, I'll try it. Why not? And then when they see how they feel, they realize that, you can have a stomach ache or you can have a terminal illness. It could be anything. And you can help someone. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy. And that you can mix a lot of tools together, because you can do crystal Reiki healing. You can involve maybe even the Akashic Records to channel information while you're doing Reiki. There's so many ways around it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And so I guess we'll go to the next one, which is Tarot Oracle, tarot cards. Personally, I don't use them. I do have a set of angel tarot cards or oracle cards. What's the difference between tarot and oracle anyways? Is it the same thing?
It's very different.
Oh.
It's different. I'm learning it now.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this really cool thing now with my Akashic record readings, where I got an oracle deck, and I actually got a new one now for Christmas I bought myself. But the one I was using is I'd kind of ground myself, pull some oracle cards, one oracle card for the person, and it would match it. it literally matches the reading. And I'm doing it also just to add something to the reading. And it kind of helps kind of channel an initial message for some reason. It's really cool. And it's been spot on. But it's also you connecting with the person's energy. Tarot, I think tarot's more... I don't know. I wouldn't be able to give you the exact... But it's a different way of pulling the cards and doing a reading. It's very different, and it's a little bit more complicated because you have like the minor arcana and the major arcana, and then you have ways of reading it because you have to interpret it. Where oracle cards, at least the ones that I've been working with, the 2 decks, they seem a lot more like you still have to do all the connecting and all of that, but it's a little bit more straightforward where it gives you a message. You have a message and you give that message. Where with, I think, tarot, depending on the way the cards are laid out, it will give a specific message, and it's like the future, present, etc. So it's a little bit different. Okay. It's a little bit different.
Well, in my case, I used to do the same thing you did with the cards during readings. I would have my angel cards, and I would also set them aside and maybe throw down 2 to 3, and I would use them to assist the reading just to get additional information. And sometimes I found that I would get the card, and then I would put my concentration on what the person got on the card for the reading, and then the masters would give me more information upon that card. So it was a good way of expanding the reading, because sometimes people ask questions but they're missing out on things that they should be asking or they didn't think about to ask. And sometimes those cards were bringing up those issues and getting me to put my attention there, which was another way of asking a question to the masters. So sometimes I would get additional information, or sometimes it was just reinforcing what I just said. It's like, yeah, okay. And then it was a nice way, because I found that a lot of people, don't want to just have you in front of them going blah, 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 blah. They want to see tangible evidence that is the path. And so I found that usually it was reinforcing what I just said. I'd be like, oh, look, that's funny. What I just said to you, look. And so it just accompany,
same for me.
Yeah, it would accompany what I just said. So that's nice for those that are very, they like the tangible things and like to see things that are visual. It kind of helps them, reassure them with what's being said.
And you can get some very insightful information, I think, with tarot and oracle cards.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about tarot right now to be able to give that much information. And I've only had one tarot reading, and it was our grandma who did it. And I found it very interesting. And I think a lot of the stuff that came up in her reading did actually happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd have to really go back and re-listen to the recording I did when she was doing the tarot reading, because I don't remember it that much. But I just remember seeing all these cards pop up, and there was some that looked really scary. Yeah. And then you're like, oh my God, does this mean I'm going to die or something? I don't know.
Of course you forget about that.
I think but I do think, like you said, I think for people that are a little bit more visual or need something more tangible, this could be a good way of kind of connecting also with your intuition for you to do your own tarot and oracle cards.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. And I've been doing my own kind of oracle card readings at night, kind of when I'm winding down in bed, and I'll put some cards out, and then I'll get messages that I need to hear, or I'll ask questions that I want answers about. And it kind of feels good, because it feels like you're kind of connecting to yourself too, like opening up your own Akashic records or something.
Yeah. And then astrology. So I only did the astrology once, because when you say astrology, I'm at least talking about, I got my what's it called? The card done?
Birth chart.
Yeah, my birth chart. Yeah.
Your natal chart.
Yes, that. So I went, and it tells you what to expect for the next year, and it tells you, oh, this is between this and this date. It's a good date to do legal things. It's a bad date to do legal things. Good thing to move. Good time to move. I'm a very impulsive person, and I'm very intuitive. So he gave me that thing, and I put it away and never looked at it. It's really bad, because I felt so limited. I know they're not telling you what to do, but them going, this is the best time. I'm like, I have to plan the whole year? No, I'm just going to do what I always do, which is I feel it out and I decide when to do it. So I'm not really great with that stuff, but I know that I should have listened to it, because it's telling you when it's best to do things. It'll flow better. But I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of people, they think astrology, they think, oh, let me just read my horoscope in a magazine. And that's not astrology. Astrology is a very precise science where you do need your birth date and the birthplace and the exact time you were born. Because even if you give them a time that's 15, 10, even a few I think a few minutes off, I think it is, like you will get a completely different birth chart. And it is a science. Like I do believe in astrology, and I've had 3 different astrology readings from 3 different people, and they were all completely different in the sense that the way the person did the reading was focused on different things, and they gave me different information. And I could say I had like almost 4 readings, because one person kind of put astrology into the reading, and it is very useful. I think if you're looking for understanding why you are the way you are, for example, your personality, why you've gone through certain things, kind of like Akashic Records, but in a different way, like the more rational, more emotional side of things. Like, for example, I was able to understand why I went through certain things and like hardships in my life, certain times of my life. They were like phases, right? That made me completely understand, or why I have certain tendencies to, feel certain ways and with certain people, or why I gravitate towards certain things in my life. That was all completely kind of explained in astrology. But I do personally, the reading I liked the most was the one that was more like psychologically, and not so much about the time, like this is gonna happen. No, like not that. It's like understanding myself. Like I was able to understand myself and why certain feelings were coming through and why I have certain tendencies. It completely explained it. It was amazing. Yeah. And I do feel like if you're going to make big decisions, I'm not saying guide yourself by your astrology reading, but if someone says to you, okay, it would be better if you waited this month to make this huge decision, which might actually, if you make it now, it might backfire on you, or it might cause more problems than good. Would you not wait? Like I'd wait.
I didn't.
If I knew
I didn't listen to the advice.
I would. I think I might not if I didn't have a choice, but I might take it more into consideration. Yeah. I might think about it twice, but not in a way where it's going to define my decisions or make me second guess things, but where I can be a little bit smarter, because I do feel like there's certain times where, we can wait a little bit longer and make a better decision or get something better out of a situation. I found it fascinating, and I never really saw that until my last 2 readings I had, and that's when I saw it, because of the first 2 ones I had, they were pretty spot on. The second reading especially, things that they said was going to happen happened. Not that I asked. They were like, oh, things like in this area of your life are going to get better starting this month and moving forward, and then you're going to have trouble with this moving, and it was like bang on. It was crazy. But I do think, we do have free will, and we can do what we want. Same thing with the Akashic Records. But I think if you want to, I think astrology is good if you just want to understand yourself. If you understand your personality, where you come from, why you feel certain ways, what you need to be careful with, how you can move forward in a better way, use astrology and get someone that will focus it on that. Yeah. Like look into the person and get like recommendations.
So maybe. I used to get Akashic Records reading. We would exchange usually. I would do her and she would do me. She's now moved, so I don't, our time difference is so big, but I used to always go to her maybe about once a year or something, and she would do numerology with it. So she would do your number, she would ask for your date, when you were born, where you were born, and she would do your numerology before the reading. So when she did your Akashic Records reading, she first would open with all the information she got from numerology. And it was kind of cool because even before the reading, she was already telling you, well, this is the number that's currently powerful in your life, and this number will bring this to your life, and it will enhance this and this. So for the next year, this is going to be very strongly present in your life, or this is going to be a struggle for you for the next year, and blah blah blah. So it was funny because it did describe a lot of the times when she did it. It did describe a lot of what was going on, like chaotic things that were going on. It was because that number was active. So it was numerology, I guess, as you could consider astrology, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
Numerology, I didn't think we included in the list, but that's also, I think, interesting. I don't feel like I personally got a lot out of numerology, but I think it does help understand yourself too, for sure.
Yeah. So rebirthing, is that when you go through the months where you're in the womb?
Yeah, I actually did this with my Akashic Records teacher.
Yeah, me too.
You did it too. I
did the retreat when I did the mastery level Akashic Records 3. So we were like in a pool and you picked your mom. It was almost like, it was weird because you picked your mom and then they picked you as a mom and then you'd be picked up by the person in the pool and they would she would talk to you through the process. Okay, you're in the womb and now you've been in the womb for 1 month and this is what's going on with your growth in your body. And it literally, when I arrived I didn't know, I remember I started feeling really sick and really sick and really sick. I obviously didn't know what the person that was holding me was feeling because you're just concentrating on the moment or you're listening to what she's trying to say. But I felt so sick to the point where I no longer knew what month she was at. I started feeling so awful. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, oh my God, I have to throw up. I literally got myself out of that pool as fast as I could, ran to the bathroom and started throwing up.
What?
Yes.
Really?
And then the crazy part about it is that after I said, I'm sorry, I don't even know what time I walked out of the whole healing thing. Like, what were we? She was like, we were at 8 months. And I said, well, that's funny because my mom said that I came 8 months. Like that's literally, I ended up coming out much sooner than I expected. It was 8 months. And obviously I had the whole thing where I was throwing up after I grew up. I was just throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. And I was like, oh my God.
It's something with your stomach, right?
Yeah, and it was like a replica of the actual, and it was crazy because I after went to mom to tell her about it, and she goes, yeah, that's what happened in real life. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. And then I spoke.
Did anybody else have that experience?
I was the only person that ran out to throw up. I remember.
What?
Yes, because there was also a therapist present to help you in case anything happened. So there's the teacher that's walking you through the process, and then there's the therapist. So the therapist came into the room and she was like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know what happened, but all I can tell you is I couldn't stop the feeling of needing to throw up.
Weird.
And it was 3 days of the retreat because it was 3 days of the mastery level of Akashic Records, and that was one of the exercises of cleaning yourself to get to the mastery level. And I didn't feel sick the rest of the trip. It was just that one thing.
That's what I was going to ask you, if after that you felt fine.
Yeah, after that I felt fine. I threw up and it was done. It was over with. It took me I went, sat down, drank some water, and then maybe about an hour later I was feeling better. And then I discussed it with the girl that was holding me, and I said, I'm sorry, I started feeling so sick, I just jumped out of your arms out of the pool. And she said, I'm so happy that you left because I couldn't hold you anymore. She said, I don't know what happened. You felt heavy. The second she went to 8 months, she's like, you felt so heavy. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hold you anymore. And I was so happy when you jumped off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we both felt off, and I held her after for her birth, and we didn't feel that at any point. So it was obviously my experience that was being either cleared or, I don't know, replicated. And I somehow cleared it out during the experience. I don't know.
Wow. For me, rebirthing wasn't like that. It was one-on-one with her. And I remember laying down and she walked me through the whole birth, me being in the womb and how I felt and the pressures and all this stuff, pressure from mom or pressure from dad or pressure from external things. And I remember crying. I remember it was very emotional. It was weird. And then I remember even being put in mom's arms again, but I was never in mom's arms because they took me away. It was doing the whole process, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's me imagining it and making it a more beautiful experience.
You weren't put in mom's arms? I don't remember.
No, I was taken away.
Why?
She doesn't know because I was basically pulled out with forceps and my face was not doing too well.
Poor mom. So I think she didn't get to hold either me or you because
they had to go find me. They didn't know where they put me. They just took me away.
What? No information?
Really bad.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was really bad. And she was in labor for 41 hours with me. So imagine that.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Damn.
But I don't really remember that much. I just remember it was very emotional. I remember crying. I remember just her talking me through. It kind of reminded me of hypnotherapy a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot, actually. Yeah, with the talking and and seeing things.
Yeah, it kind of is in a way. You're going through a hypnosis state of rebirthing. That makes sense. Well, that brings us to hypnotherapy.
Yeah. Hypnotherapy, I'm I love hypnotherapy. I'm a very, very big fan. And I feel like that's what started me on this huge journey of feeling more spiritual and connecting with myself.
Yeah.
And I have Becca to thank for that. I can put her information in the show notes as well. But it's something I want to keep doing. I have a plan to do a few hypnotherapy sessions in the beginning of the year just to deal a little bit with some anxiety and internal stuff. But for me, it's amazing. I don't know how to put it into words. It's not like they're putting a pendulum in front of your face and you're falling asleep like they do in the movies. It's literally you just being in the subconscious state where you're able to go back and feel things. And like one of the 2 sessions I did with her, the second one was, I think it was more kind of, I think we focused on that sense of worry. I'm always worried. I'm a worrier. And we focused on that with my anxiety, like worry with anxiety and worry with panic attacks. And for some weird reason, I remember some moment in our kitchen when we lived in New York and me looking up at mom and dad trying to explain something to me. And it was the kitchen. I was there. I felt like I was there. It was me. And it was like they were trying to explain something and I was worried about something. I think we tried to go through it a bunch of times and figure out what it was I was worried about. And I can't remember right now because it was like, bam, it was done. It was over.
Maybe it was them telling us we were moving back to Uruguay. Was it then?
No, that was like way before then. I was probably like 8 or 9 there. I was way younger. But it was weird because I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember that ever happening. Maybe it did and I don't recall it. Like, we block stuff out. And the first one I did, it went straight to me as like a 1-year-old sitting on this cold floor in mom and dad's house, which I don't remember it. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember the house. I just remember the floor being so cold. I was wearing a little white dress and I was just playing by myself. And then I remember talking to mom about it after. She's like, oh my God, the floor in that house was so cold. We always said that.
Oh my God.
I was like, what? I was like, I don't remember that. I was too little. Like, that's all I can remember because obviously when you're going through the hypnotherapy session, they ask you to describe what you're feeling, what's around you, the colors you see, if there's anybody around you and all that. So it feels so real. It feels like I'm there. It's like going back in time, but you're not really hypnotized in like the sense of, like the pendulum thing and you falling asleep. Your eyes are closed, you're in a very relaxed state, and then you're going back in time to whatever your subconscious brings you to.
Yeah.
So it's a way of going back and reprogramming it and feeling better about something, or being able to, like the person you are today, be able to tell that little, like my 1-year-old, like Lorena today, being able to tell Lorena, 1-year-old Lorena, it's okay, you're going to be okay. There's no need for you to feel this way. And it's like reassuring, and then you fly above everything. It's like so weird. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It definitely worked for me, and I highly recommend it to anybody that's having maybe an issue where you don't know how to get to the bottom of it, or you don't know, it's something subconscious, but you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Or that you want like a different way of figuring it out than just going to like, I don't know, a therapist or a psychologist. It's different.
Yeah.
And you can do things quick too.
Yeah.
Very quick.
I haven't really gotten it done by anybody, but I am totally obsessed with it to the point where I've read like, I've been reading the Michael Newton books. The book that got me started on like a more awakened spiritual path was Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yes.
Like, I think that's the book that a lot of people start on. It's like a huge one.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And you the other day, it was my birthday, and you said, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, these 2 Michael Newton books I did. So I'm like very much into it. We both are. And in the future, we'll have really, really cool news about this. Potentially some stuff we're going to have to set up later on, but we'll leave it at that.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the next one is going to be family constellations. And this is one of my like top favorite ones.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm also getting into.
So we both
year.
learned about family constellations because Akashic Records always sends you at some point in your progression with them, either to heal something or to be able to get a reading because you're stopping yourself from connecting properly with the records or whatever it is, but they'll send, I mean, I remember in the beginning they used to send people more often, but now I find myself saying it less to people during their readings, because I think people are learning to clear out things better, so they don't need as much assistance as they used to. But family constellation is amazing because you can literally deal with any issue you have with any relationship in your life with anybody, and they don't have to be there, and it actually works.
It does work. It's so crazy. For me, it's been, don't want to say number one, but because I feel like Akashic Records and some other things have also taken, they're kind of on the same level, I would say. But family constellations has helped me with like chronic pain, mourning the death of my friend that died like a little bit over a year ago, with just things like problems I was having. When I say problems, I mean like chronic things that you don't go away. You go to the doctor, you try to figure it out. This pain, like in your leg, I had a pain in my leg, a pain in my hip, a pain in my arm. I don't know, like maybe chronic migraines, anything like that. I think it's something that you can definitely look into. Like for me, the last time I did it was last year when I came to Uruguay, and I was going through that whole chronic hives thing. Yeah. Which I've actually pinpointed, and I'll talk about this way later because I need to go through some stuff first to be able to talk about it, basically. But when I went to the family constellations, it came through that it was a lot to do with my friend's death. I was holding a lot of kind of grief inside, and it was an hour-long session where I was literally bawling. And it's you talking to the person, you putting the person in their place. You came up, mom came up. It was like all these women in my life, putting them in their place and letting them go. Like I was letting my friend go because I didn't want to let go of her memory. I didn't want to let go of what happened, and that she was gone, because she was my age. Like she was,
she had
a year older, maybe.
Very,
two young kids. Like it was hard. It still is, and I think about her, but I feel like I've dealt with it through that, if that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like if you're going through something really hard, this could be a way of you processing the feelings and standing in front of the problem in a different way where you can look at it and just let go. Yeah. And there's someone assisting you through the whole process. And this is great because I believe, and I think Akashic Records will say the same, a lot of our issues and most of our issues come from our family. So if there's a problem that you're having with, let's say at work, in some way that will be related to something that's gone on or happened with your family. And you put things in their place. Your dad has to take the place of a dad. Your mom has to take the place of a mom. Your siblings, their place, and you take your place. And for a lot of my life, I think I was trying to take care of people. At least in my mind, I was, taking on this pain in my leg because I was trying to take care of my dad in some way, or I was worried about my dad. And things will show up in your body. I have proven that through a bunch of stuff. And I am not kidding you. 2 particular times when it was just one session, an hour long, and I left that place, the next day I was fine. A pain that I had for like a year or 2 years, gone.
Yeah.
Like completely gone. It just blows my mind to think that we hold on to a lot of things generationally and with our families and with pain, and we think that we need to take on someone else's pain in order for them to be okay, and it doesn't work that way. That's not the way it works. And that's where, if you have a good therapist, they need to be good and they need to know what they're doing, can help walk you through the whole process and put everything in its place, and you to be able to take your place inside of your family as the person that you are. Yeah. And in the position, because if you're a mom, you're a mom. If you're a dad, you're a dad. But you need to do what you need to do. And your place needs to be your place, because that's the only way you're going to move forward in a healthy way. It's amazing. Like, I would recommend anybody, if they can find a good therapist, try it once in your life if you have something that you feel like you need to deal with.
Yeah, totally. And then the next one is Angelic Healing, which we all know, I always say I'm obsessed with. I had gotten into this because of Tania, which we did an episode on her. If you want more specifics on Angelic Healing, you can listen to her episode. And she talks all about that and other things she does. But I got into it because of, well, actually, I didn't get into it right away because of her. I got into it because of Barbara and Barbara Y. I want to say Martin and what is it? Dimitri. Yeah.
Yep.
So I got into it because of their books, which is Communing with the Divine, Change Your Aura, Change Your Life. Those are two of the books that I read. And I got into it because of Communing with the Divine. And then I was like, oh my God, I really like this. And mostly because sometimes you do things and you don't feel like for example, you were doing family constellation, you felt you were crying, you left and it healed. But sometimes there's healing modalities you do where you just have to have faith in the moment. But this is something where you're doing it, and the moment you're doing it, you're feeling the vibration energy coming into you. And so it's almost like this pleasure of knowing it's working in the moment it's working, and feeling the energies, and it just feels so, it just makes you feel connected to something higher than yourself, and it just, to me, that's amazing. And so I like that so much. And then I did the course with Tania, and I really liked it, and I loved it so much. And then I did it for you guys. So I did it on myself, and I did it for you guys, for you, Mom and Dad, and all of you had basically the same experience where you felt the energy and also you passed out. So it's really cool. It can't fix your life to the point where it can, it'll change all these things in your life, but because things depend on you, but it will give you the energy you need, and it will give you the vibrations and whatever healing that you need to help you gain the knowledge, strength, or push to get to somewhere. And if you're sick or you're having some pains, it can also help because you can ask for energy to go towards that area. Maybe it might heal it, maybe it might not. It depends, because if it's linked to something else in your life, that you're going through, like a family issue, until you fix a family issue, the pain's probably still going to be there. So can't be miraculous, because there are things that you need to deal with. But I think it's a really good assisting tool to assist you and to continue on a path, on a high vibration, to keep you connected and grounded and clear out. I used it a lot for myself to clear things out.
Yeah. I loved how it felt. It was great. I've only done it once, but even the comments you got from the different people, like the people listening to the podcast, you did a few angelic healings for them.
Yeah.
And you got some great feedback from them, from what you said. So I do think it's something to take, but like you said, I think a lot of these healing methods and kind of alternative methods, you might need to mix them up and alternate them depending on what you're going through.
Yeah.
So I don't think one thing's always going to work. I think you just need to really kind of figure out what you're going through and then pick what you feel is right for you, because different things will work for different people at different moments and with different things, right?
Yeah, totally. And then we have Access Bars, which I'm a new practitioner, and I loved it. You can totally feel yourself coming out of alpha and beta stage, coming in and out and in and out. It really feels like, and I remember I did someone about a week and a half ago, I want to say, and I totally forgot to tell her, oh, by the way, you're going to be feeling yourself coming in and out of alpha and beta stage. And I just totally passed me over. I didn't remember to say it. I did comment about like how what to expect and how it might help. And then after, when I asked her, like, okay, what did you feel and how do you feel? I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was waking up and going back to sleep and waking up and going. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. You go into in back and out, alpha and beta state. But the brain totally does that. And it's really cool because you can feel how it's working on you by the way you're coming in and out, and you always pass out. I haven't seen anyone not pass out yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. You end up everybody ends up snoring at some point. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like not like a loud snore, like the little low like nose snore thing. Like yeah, when we did the class, it was a few of us there, and we all were when we were on the table being assisted to, like we all did a little snoring thing. I woke myself up. and then when I went to the class where you do exchange bars with other practitioners, I also like heard other people and myself, we all faded out and like the little snoring noise. So it definitely does work on your brain. It's cool. It's a good way of getting to subconscious and conscious and clearing out what's no longer good for you. I can't say yet to the change long term because I've just started not even a month ago. But I can say short term, it's helped me mostly with my creativity. Because I don't know if you've picked up on the fact that after I finished, that's when I went, I'm going to change the whole website.
Yeah, you did.
And it opened up this whole level of creativity for me. And that's after, you've always been more of the poster on Instagram and stuff like that for us. And I also opened up myself to be more creative with the posting and stuff like that. So it did connect me better with my creativity. I must have had it blocked in some sort of a way. So I noticed that for now.
That's good.
I don't know if there's other things that I haven't picked up on yet, but yeah, I totally recommend it. I love it.
Yeah, I can't talk about it because I haven't done it yet. Hopefully next time we meet up, I can get my access bars run.
Yeah,
by
definitely.
You. But I think we have. I mean, even if you have some questions, we have that episode with Rachel Gitlevich. She talks a bit about it. I think that's a good episode if you want like more specific info. But I'm sure once you keep doing this, we're going to do a specific one just about that and all of these modalities. But I think the next one we have on the list is aromatherapy.
Yeah. So I haven't worked too much with aromatherapy.
Me neither.
It's been pending for me. I've kind of been getting into what aromas help calm you, what aromas help you connect. And lately, since I was having some grounding issues, I started looking up what aromas will help you ground better. But I can't say that it's changed my life. I think it's a really good tool to use with like carrying around crystals, putting the right aroma on for what you need, and then doing other things. I think it's a really good complementary maybe modality.
Yeah. I do think that aromatherapy can be pretty much used in any of these other healing modalities.
Yeah.
But I do completely believe in the power of aromatherapy and how it can change our state or how we're feeling. It can calm us down. Obviously, if we need to be in a situation where we're not like running from a bear or something, like it needs to be in good circumstances. But I do feel like aromatherapy has been used on me with like Reiki, and it definitely, like, I could just remember smelling specific aromas and feeling instantly like my body was like, like I can breathe, like I feel calm.
Yeah.
And even at home, like I tried to have certain oils sometimes, and I the one I use the most is lavender. And I have that in a little spray bottle, and I brought that with me.
That reminds me of when
Uruguay.
Aurora was born, and she was having a lot of issues, and she wasn't sleeping much. And Mom came, I think Aurora was almost a month old when Mom came to help out, Cayman Islands, and she brought her bag of herbs. And she's like, lavender, put it in the bath, put it in the room, put it everywhere.
Yeah.
She'll sleep better. And so, like, I still have that lavender that she gave me, which I use on my volcanic beads with the bracelet I carry around, the chakra bracelet. I was putting the lavender on. That
one you have is nice. I use that a lot.
That's the one Mom gave me. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It smells different than the one I have. And the one I have is like 100% pure oil, but that's another thing you have to be careful if you do that. Like if you buy your own oils, just be careful, make sure you're getting good quality essential oils, because I think a lot of them can be maybe not so good for you, especially if you're burning them in your house. Be careful.
Yeah.
But I do think that it has a certain power to it, and that we should all try it. Yeah. For sure.
Actually, that reminds me, we don't have it on the list, but herbalism, because we actually grew up with this. We would not an extreme herbalism, but we grew up with Mom. Like we would get sick, and Mom would go, and Grandma, because Grandma knew the plants really well in the area in Uruguay. So we would get sick, and Grandma or Mom, if Mom didn't know, she would call Grandma, and then she'd be like, go to the back of the house, or she would go to like the local store and buy the herbs. And a lot of time you buy them and they're just fresh. Somebody from their farm picked it and they're just selling the bag or something, right? But your stomach hurt, Mom had an herb for it. You were sick, Mom called Grandma. She usually made a concoction of like 3 different herbs, and so we grew up with herbalism. And Mom even brought certain teas with us to the Cayman Islands after I had Aurora, because I had C-section and I was really not feeling great. Aurora wasn't feeling too great. Like she brought about a bunch of stuff with her that might help. But yeah, herbalism, I love it. I'm getting into it, and the point where like I'm starting to look into plants that I want to have, because I love plants anyways. But there's a lot of them that I grew up with that I can't get here in Holland, so I'm a little set back, because Uruguay has a bunch of different ones. Yeah.
It's hard, but I think there's a lot to say about herbs and herbalism. Sorry, I'm laughing. Joe just walked outside of this place I'm recording at. It's funny. I do think that there's a lot of power to herbs. I don't want to go into details, but when I was in Holland, I had to buy some herbs for a specific situation I was going through, and it was a miracle. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, the herbs really help. Yeah, definitely. So I'm a fan
definitely,
of that. I want to
and
get into it.
you can look that up all online, right? You can look up stuff online or do like a special herbs course just for yourself, and like there's certain remedies that you don't have to turn to, like taking an aspirin maybe if you have a headache, or if you have a little bit of a tummy ache. You can, there's an herb for everything, basically.
Yeah. So crystal healing, we all know that I've gotten obsessed with, or those that know me that are around me now know that I've gotten obsessed with crystals, but I've been using crystals. I started with crystals because also I did one of Tania's crystal courses. I haven't really done the crystal healing as in like put the crystals on somebody to heal. So I haven't done that because you can't do it at a distance, and I've been doing mostly healing at a distance. But I have been using the crystals to like carry this one with me for this, carry this one for that. And I've been doing a lot of crystal grids, which I've been swearing by the crystal grids, Lorena. I swear by them. Amazing. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do a crystal grid because I feel like I'm not very connected. Oh, I'm going to do a crystal grid because I feel like the energy in the house is low. I'm going to do one just to raise the energy. And I swear to God, it's almost an hour later, I'm already feeling the difference. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And they're beautiful, too. I feel like even just making the grid would probably just put you in a different frame of mind, and it would probably ground you in some way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I've been putting grounding crystals at the end of some of the grids I've been making for my personal self, because I have been working on my grounding lately. So that's me, that's my issue. But you can do a specific grid for grounding. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can do it for everything.
I actually like going back to because Tanya's huge on crystals, right? Yeah. You remember her episode? We asked her a bunch of stuff about crystals, but I remember I asked her about the Akashic Records and what would be some good crystals for us to connect. So I think the first one she said was labradorite, and I got one. I got it like a crystal I can wear or hold in my palm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start testing that out.
Labradorite.
Labradorite. I don't remember how to say it.
I know it's in Spanish because I studied it in high school. We studied. I did the geology botanical section of high school, and Uruguay's different, right? And it was labradorita.
Yeah. The crystals are amazing, and I feel like crystals you can, I know I've had Reiki done with crystals a long, long time ago. I think the next one we're going into is homeopathy, flowers, like batch flowers, osteopathy, and acupuncture, which I kind of put together in the same kind of together. I don't know, because I felt like I've personally used them all together in one session with an osteopath. And with acupuncture, the acupuncturist I go to in Cayman, she prescribes homeopathy for me. So I do feel like there's a way to connect them all. Not that they're very separate in their own ways, and they all help in different ways. But I've personally benefited from all of them.
Yeah.
I think you did also all of these, right?
Yeah. So I did acupuncture, especially when I was going. I don't know if you remember. I used to run 12K every day for like 6 months. It was 12K, and obviously at some point my knee goes stop. So I was having a lot of problems with my knee. They thought it was my meniscus, but they weren't too sure. They couldn't figure out. And it was in Uruguay, and I went to an acupuncturist. Well, he would go to the house and he would do acupuncture on you. I don't remember, it was too long ago, and also because I carried on with that pain for a while. I do remember it feeling much more painful the moment that they did the acupuncture on me. Like while they were inserting it, I remember the pain getting worse, but I don't know if it's part of the process. But also the area was really sore for me. So it was a very specific situation. Homeopathic medicine, yes, I loved it, and it really, really, really helped me. It was the stage after we moved to Uruguay. After a while, I was very angry because I was going through the issues of the move. I was 15. I had to say goodbye to anybody I ever knew, all my friends, right? And move to this new place, make new friends, go to a new school, learn a new language. And it was really stressful. And I started getting very sick. like very sick. Like I was sick all the time, to the point where I was at the doctor probably once a month getting a shot, you know, for whatever flu I had at the time or whatever. But it was once a month I would get like a really severe antibiotic shot, to a point where then after a while the antibiotics weren't even helping me because my body was almost getting immune to getting so much of the antibiotics. And so mom was like, okay, that's it. We got to do something else. This isn't working anymore. And we ended up going to a homeopathic doctor. It was a really cool experience because he doesn't sit down and go, okay, what do you have? What are you feeling? It's emotional. They'll be like, okay, are you, you know, how's your relationship with this and this and that in your life? How are you feeling? What's the last feeling you had? Like, there was so many it was a list of, I think, probably 80 questions at least, and all had to do with linking your situation to your emotional state. And from there, they give you your homeopathic medicine, and then you go and you check in with them every once in a while. I don't know if it was once a month, I don't remember now. And then they would go over how you're feeling again, and they would adapt your medication. And I did start getting, you know, less sick, to a point where I got sick the normal amount of times that everyone else around me. And it seemed like a blessing. It was amazing that I had never had that for a long time. I was always getting sick.
Yeah. Shoot, I remember that.
Yeah.
For me, I love homeopathy, but I feel personally that like the batch flowers were so amazing. Like they literally changed my anxiety, my mood, made me feel more positive. Obviously, they were prescribing the right ones for me, right? But the osteopathy, like paired with the flowers and the homeopathy, game changer. We'd go once a month. I remember that. I religiously went once a month and left there feeling so great. Before even doing that, I was doing acupuncture on its own, and that helped me with a lot of hormonal issues I was going through. It helped me with my anxiety. They would leave like little needles in my ear, and I'd go once a week or every 2 weeks. And I remember the first time I got acupuncture, I got really sick. Like, I'm not kidding you. 3 hours later, I was already feeling I was getting a cold, and the next day I was homesick from work. It cleared out a lot of energetic stuff, and it made me feel calmer. Like for me, I always say acupuncture, like a 1 hour acupuncture session feels better than an hour massage. I leave the session feeling way more relaxed and feeling grounded and feeling like my body's balanced and I feel lighter. It's really weird. But I think acupuncture for me has been good for chronic pain. I had a chronic wrist pain and it helped tremendously. I lost my voice once, brought my voice back like that. Like 2 hours later, my voice came back.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, it's insane because all of that stuff you think, oh, I'm just sick. I lost my voice. No, there's something always to it. There's an emotional side to everything, and energetically, your body's always reacting to everything. Mm-hmm. So how every time I would get very sick, I just would tend to call our acupuncturist because it was just so much. You just heal quicker. You'd get better quicker. And then if I needed to go see a doctor, I would. And sometimes I'd have to get antibiotics or medicine or something. But I try now these days to lean more towards an alternative route before going towards, something more of a prescription or going to see a doctor where you're going to spend the money anyway, right? But whatever. But I think all of these, depending on what you're going through, I think all of these can help balance you out more in every sense, like emotionally, physically, mentally, all 4 of those that we mentioned are great for all of that, and definitely give it a try.
So the last one we have is meditation, which I do every night. Every night I meditate, and if I'm very tired and I know I'm probably going to pass out, I'll just do at least 5 minutes. But if not, lately I've been doing 30 to 40 minutes. I first started with just 10 minutes. If I was lucky, I could make it to 10 minutes if I was lucky. And I've been very strict with myself. Not strict in a bad way, but like I've been very consistent with it, and I've been doing it every night. And not only because I'm making myself, because it's actually helping me with a lot of things. The great thing about meditation is you don't have to pay anyone to do it for you. You don't have to leave your house to do it. It's not going to cost you any money. It's just going to cost you some time. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't cost you time because it's helping you out with something. For me, meditation's really helped me be more present It helps me connect a lot more, especially since I do Akashic Records. I've been connecting more. I've been receiving stronger messages. Like it's been helping me out with a lot of things. And I've recently incorporated at the end of my meditation a grounding exercise, because since I have been doing Akashic Records reading for a long time, and I never practice grounding on top of like doing Angelic Healing now and all this other stuff, I never knew that I was supposed to make sure to stay grounded and do grounding exercises. So now I find myself having issues with not being grounded enough because of all the things that I do on top of that. So I'm incorporating grounding parts of my meditation at the end.
Perfect.
Yeah, and so it's actually helped me. I wake up better, and not like from, after my night's sleep, I wake up a little bit faster. So there's a lot of things that I had as a secondary consequence of not being grounded, which I didn't know were that till I finally got the information from the Akashic Records. I'm like, oh, that's what that has been for like a year of my life. It's been that, like, I had no idea. It's crazy. So I definitely recommend it to do it, maybe once a week if you're not into that spiritual world. If you're doing spiritual things like readings and things like that, then yeah, ground yourself more often.
I mean, some people think like meditation needs to be so hard. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It could even be with just breathing. That's why I like Kundalini so much, like yoga.
Yeah.
That could be a really good way of grounding.
I just do breathing. That's all I do in meditation.
Yeah.
I just sit there and I breathe, and I just and the thought might come into my mind, and I let it leave. Like I'll go, okay, no, and it just goes. I let it flow in and out. So I've gotten better at that. I think that's a part about meditation, releasing the thoughts and not punishing yourself. Where it's like, oh, I'm thinking again. No, I shouldn't be. No, that's like, just let it go, release it.
Like I remember one therapist once said to me, because I would get very overwhelmed or stressed at work. So she would say, okay, there's this, I don't remember what the method was called. It was like, it wasn't grounding, but it was like it's basically like getting present. And it was wherever you are, you're sitting. And then let's say you have a water bottle. You have a water bottle on your desk, and you look at the water bottle and you say, okay, the water bottle's green. It's tall. It looks cold. It's right next to this lamp on my desk, and it's next to this notebook I have. And it's right there, and it puts you in the present moment. It could be with anything, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what you do with grounding. You put yourself in the present moment. It's like you're putting your feet on the ground, and you're looking around at what you're doing and where you are.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking of the future or looking at the past, it's you're here, you're now, and you stop and you breathe.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is in my mind. I don't know. But for me, meditation has always helped me, and it helped tremendously when I started my therapy and making time for myself and setting boundaries and speaking up more and visualizing what I want and what I need. I think it's huge for that too.
Yeah.
And it definitely de-stresses you. There's no doubt about it. And there's no doubt in my mind that it can serve so many purposes. And grounding, like you said, I'm starting to believe how important it is more and more.
Yeah.
Especially now, today, in this day and age, where we're constantly go, and we're working and we're running from here. You're pick up your kids, and then you got to do this for somebody, and you got to go out, and you got to, I don't know, go to the supermarket. Like you're never grounded. You're just always running like a crazy woman or a crazy man. So I think it is something that's free that we can all do. And then even if it's 3 minutes a day and you can work up, just do it. And that's what I need to, that's exactly the message for myself.
Yeah, you need to start doing it, even if it's 5 minutes. And then after, I'm telling you, because I was there. If you talked to me 6 months ago, I was just starting or something. But, or around the time I was starting. But like, I just stayed consistent with 5 minutes, and then I turned that into 10 minutes. And now I want to do it because I don't know. It just becomes a habit. What do they say? Like when something starts, you have to push yourself, and then once it becomes a habit, that's it. It's a habit.
You just do it.
You just do it, and you expect it, and you just make the time for it. So just start doing it to the point where it becomes a habit.
Yeah, and you're preaching to the choir. I know how good it is, and it's given me so many amazing benefits. It's exact like even with my anxiety and all of that. So I know that it's just I haven't made it a priority, and that's going to change, and it's changing. But
yeah,
Yeah.
So that's
I
the end
think
of our
discipline.
list. We'll probably have more things to talk about in the future because we're still trying things out, but this is our list for now. If there's any thing specific that somebody wants us to get more into details or speak more about or make a whole episode about, maybe just shoot us an email via our contact form on the website, or contact us on Instagram or Facebook. You can message us there too, and we can create an episode for that if there's something specific that you guys want to dedicate more time to.
Perfect. Yeah. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle's at soul_tribe_podcast. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you think might enjoy it or benefit from it. And I think this episode comes out on the 31st of December, right? It's in 2 weeks. So yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
New Year.
Hope you all start the year off really well. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Happy holidays. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.